Hello, here I am in Expo 2017 in Astana, the capital of Kazakhstan. An important historical event for those of us working on climate change and renewables. This is the largest and most expensive and boldest ever display of the potential of renewables under the theme of future power. So this is the main exhibit in Expo 2017. This is inside the what's being called the Death Star, the largest exhibition space. It's got 8 floors. And if we needed a positive narrative of climate change, this is extraordinary. This is actually the most exciting and impressive global showcase for new renewable technologies I've ever seen. Of course, there's other reasons, as we can see on the video screen behind me. The motivation on this is particularly to put Kazakhstan on the map, not least of which to show its president, Nazarbayev, as a positive light, as a great statesman striding the world stage. As a result of that, this whole project basically had a blank check to pay for it. By all accounts, around $5 billion, but no one knows for sure because in this repressive one-party state, nobody can actually see the figures of how the money was spent. The budget on this is vast, 3-4 times more than Britain's Millennium Dome, for example, and the results are clear to see all around me. I mean, a hugely impressive display. But if this is a positive narrative on renewables, and we really need one, there are some key things missing, and it's these missing things that cause me the greatest concern. Yes, it's blingy and it's exciting and it's positive, but the missing points are critical. One is climate change. There is virtually no mention of climate change. Apart from a little bit of video behind me of signing the Paris Agreement, nothing at all is said about this issue. So why do we need these renewables? Well, because they're fun and exciting and so on, not because the world is facing imminent collapse because of climate change. The second thing, a related issue, is fossil fuels and fossil fuel extraction. The things that power climate change, the things which create the key component of a narrative of renewables, that we need to get out of dirty fossil fuels, we need to leave them in the ground, we need to move forward towards clean forms of energy, that is completely missing here. Now, there are multiple ironies in this whole show. Right, irony number one, Kazakhstan, which makes most of its foreign currency revenue from selling oil, is funding this entire thing with oil. This renewables display is air-conditioned, and its appalling energy glut is air-conditioned with coal-fired power in a major oil-exporting country. What's more, whilst everybody here is talking about this grand vision moving towards renewable energy, nobody is talking about how Kazakhstan is going to be producing less of that, of the fossil fuel energy which is causing the problem. Nor any of the national pavilions either. So Qatar, United Arab Emirates, these all have pavilions here, and none of them are talking about fossil fuel production. So what we see here is a kind of a strangely confused and fractured narrative. We're seeing renewables as this hugely exciting potential for the future. So great, we've got that potential, we've got that opportunity narrative happening, but we're seeing nothing at all about the thing which is propelling it forward. And let's face it, renewables are moving into the center stage because of subsidies created because of a Paris Agreement and the need to get out of fossil fuels. No talk of that. So how does renewables fit in? It's a little bit hard to say. Are they somehow coming on top of fossil fuels? This morning I asked questions to the head of one of the senior oil companies here in Kazakhstan, asked him exactly this. He says, no, we're not going to stop producing. Maybe we can turn our petrol into plastic. So Kazakhstan clearly has no intention of letting go of any of that revenue. Kazakhstan has in its reserves, in its current estimated reserves, enough to take the world 25% of the way towards the 2-degree disaster level, just in its own reserves. So clearly it's going to have to stop doing stuff. As far as I can see, and this is now my second day here, there's only one display in the entire Expo 2017 which really talks about climate change. And this, believe it or not, is it. A brief mention of the Paris Agreement to combat climate change. So who knows how many people are coming here, because to be cynical, one can imagine the figures will probably be made up to fit anyway, but let's say realistically it might be a couple of million people. An opportunity was here to engage with a couple of million people, including some from overseas, to talk in a realistic way about climate change in Kazakhstan, or climate change around the world. In Kazakhstan it's going to be devastating. This is a hot country, it's extremely hot today. It really cannot handle a lot more heat, especially as one of its major exports is wheat. The major cities in the south, including this city, are severely short of water in summer. Clearly there's a lot of problems with it. So really, my overall feeling is that for all of the excitement of this astonishing show, which it is, I think it's a real shame more people didn't see it, a major opportunity has been missed to link up the dots to say, climate change, yes, climate change is a threat, but we have a solution, and the solution is exciting. And about the first part of that story, the second part becomes kind of empty. It's just like techno bling. I will say one of the more endearing qualities of the Expo, which is something I appreciated, is the almost total lack of commercialism and merchandising. This, for example, is the one souvenir shop in the whole Expo, and apart from a few rather tatty looking mugs, it really seems to sell almost nothing. So what are my final conclusions about Expo 2017? Well, on the face of it, very impressive and a fantastic promotion of a renewable future. But it raises for me serious questions about the role of democracy and civil society organizations in that future. You know, what's led to all of this, why renewables is on the agenda, why climate change is talked about, has been the constant challenge of people's movements, the constant criticism, the challenge to power that has moved us to the point where we're even talking about this transition. And here we are in a country which is a one-party state with a president for life who gets a mysteriously large number of votes in his national elections, with virtually no challenge or criticism or NGO civil society participation at all. I really don't think that we can have a discussion of a future which effectively excludes all debate and discussion.